Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander 2 video. I'm here to show you how to basically what you need to do as a Cybran player against an Aeon player. Now specifically most of this video is going to feature Awasy because he is the best Aeon player at the moment. He's won the last 10 tournaments in a row. He's won the best of 11 against Iron Commander, who I think is the best player I've ever seen. So we're just gonna make a couple of videos of various games of what Cybran has to do to be an Aeon player. So we'll start with the fairly known builds and we'll progress to more difficult ones, and I will explain what you have to do. This is mainly a video for people who are trying to play this game more competitively, maybe join professional tournaments and actually put some competition, because the gap level is so high that we need to host NOB tournaments and pro tournaments separately. So yeah, watch this video, try to understand, and hopefully you can defeat Awasy in your next game. So Awasy always tends to start at one air factory build. It's a common build for an Aeon player because that's one of the only things they can do to even put a game up against a Cybran, besides the tactical missile launcher option. So what you do as a Cybran is you grab your 4 maxes at the beginning. You want to get your eco because you won't have this mass or the back mass or the side masses, so you want to set up your economy quickly. So I would suggest to always take your 4 maxes first. So the first two replays are going to be free land builds, one by me and one by Iron Commander, and something you have to learn to put a match up against Awasy. Now, the reason people tend to do free land as Cybran is because, like I said, one of the tactics that Aeon has is the tactical missile launcher, which he just places it here and it can reach different maxes. And if you don't start your free land early, then you won't have adapters in time and you won't be able to defend, and you just won't be able to do anything. So you need your free land early. Even this, I'm too late on the land, so I should have probably been a bit quicker than this. Now, one of the problems of Awasy is he does abuse his air. He stops you from building. Before you even place an extractor, he tries to bomb it, and it really delays you from setting up your base and allows him to get his full expansion going. As you can see, he's got 3 planes. He stopped building it. The air. He puts a second land factory because he sees free land. He knows it's gonna, he's probably expecting a push early on. Now, since he's air, you can't take the side mixes, so you want to build up forward. You want to try and protect these as much as possible, get veterancy on them, and hopefully win the game by the 10th minute mark. Because once Aeon gets teleport and full eco going, he's just going to flood you with units. Here comes the adapters. You need to be careful of adapters. A lot of people overestimate their capabilities. If he sees one adapter protecting the mass extractor, he will just bomb it, and 3 to 4 planes is enough to kill one adapter. 5 planes is enough to kill 2 adapters, unless they've got stars in them. So adapters do cost research. Fire rate research, you've already wasted 6 points. That means he's going to get border boom around 7 points, so he's going to be in the advantage with the border, because that's about 2-3 stars worth. Now, as a Cybran player, you need to put pressure on the opponent, even if the pressure is not a real attack. So you want to push, force him to stop his expansion, pump out more units. You know, you really want to try and stop that expansion, delay him, force a mistake. And so yeah, and you need to not forget to expand whilst you're attacking. So again, not sure why he's not bombing now. Maybe he's playing lazy, or he's just focusing on me coming in. But usually what Awasy will do, he will start picking off units one by one as they come. And so when you have this blob, you don't want to send units down like this. You want to keep them here and then connect them together later on, because he will pick them off one by one. So I'm not sure why he's not using his air. So you force his ACU out, maybe stall him a little bit. Here he comes. So engineers have a higher range of radar on them, so they can actually see a lot. And sometimes it's worth just using your engineer instead of radar. Just don't lose it like I did over here. Extra research point for him. And yeah, just force him out, force him to play. Don't let him build with his SU. Now, Awasy does like his economy. He's always gonna try and focus his eco over other fall-in tactics. And but overall, he's a clean player. So he knows when he has to attack, when he has to defend, when he needs to go research, when he needs to stop the economy, and that's something you need to learn as a player. Now, you need to understand one thing people don't use in the game often is we have this line here in the middle, and the walking distance towards an opponent's base is quite far. It's a lot, and you need to force your opponent to come to you, essentially, and then engage on your side of the map, because you get the defender's advantage. A lot of people tend to be too aggressive and go in, and they overstretch the army, and it always happens every time. This is exactly why Awasy is building the mass backwards. You know, he's got one air, so he's going to be behind on land. So he wants to take that defender's advantage over here, and then in the right time he pushes forward when he can. At the moment we're tied on the mexes. Usually this will be gone, so you would have to micro your adapters to protect these two mexes. And what an Aeon will tend to do in this situation, which I'm not sure why he didn't do it in this particular match, but he would supposed to put PD here, point defense. And whereas Cybran doesn't have mobile missile launchers effective enough to counter, you would have to go all in with your ACU and your units. But maybe I do have a dangerous enough army to suppress the point defense at this point in the game that he's just not willing to risk it. Now again, I'm not sure why he's not using his air in this particular match. We all know he does abuse his air quite well. But here he doesn't. Now not every match is going to be played perfect, and that's something you're going to have to learn. Like I said, you have to force mistakes from your opponents. So my ACU is building, his one's walking. That's another disadvantage. So usually when you're the one attacking, he will be the one building. That's just something to keep in mind. Brackmans are expensive, so usually you start to make your Brackmans later in the game. Oh, here comes the bombing gun. Like 3 minutes late, but it came. So when his air is out of position, you can come in, push in a bit, use your ACU to block all the damage that you can, and then you commit your bots separately from the army so they abuse the speed. The Brackmans always stay slightly behind. You need to control K that mass so he doesn't get points for it, which I didn't, but you should. And yeah, you need to start making Brackmans, keep the Brackmans behind, and usually you just make it later in the game, like 6-7 minutes into the game, because you need to get as many bots as you can to counter that PD push at the beginning that would come. So micro separately your bots so they have that speed advantage. Star your units if you need to, and basically you need to commit to a Cybran death ball. Now I think at this point he's already lost the game, because he lost way too many units, and I've already set up my Cybran expansion, which is not as big as his, but by the time his mass kicks in, you should be winning the game by then. So now it's all about spam. You gotta outspam him. He is gonna commit to the PD. A bit late now. Like I said, he could have had it maybe earlier, potentially, but did have too many bots, so he wants to get an Aeon factory up and then commit the MMLs as they're protected by the PDs. Give factory MMLs. They will target the PDs, hopefully. Sometimes they target the units, so there are people who know to misdirect them with the ACU or units. You need to learn to split your units, keep your bots forward, keep the bracks behind. And yeah, and you go stars, full stars, as many as you can, and you commit for the win. That's just an example of how Cybran wins Aeon. Okay, let's check the next video. So in this matchup we have Iron Commander versus Awasy, and this is another video of how free land should effectively work against Awasy's Aeon. Now it doesn't mean you're going to win every game of this build, it just shows you that you have a potential chance, and how you micro, how you use it, still heavily depends on your level. Now again, any moment Awasy might do something else. He might do free land, or he might go TML. So but for now we're gonna focus just to one air, because that's Awasy's main build that everyone seems to complain about. And this is the whole reason I'm even making this tutorial, because people are complaining, saying they can't win, what do we do? And even though I try to explain them and show, they don't listen. So I'm gonna show you all the videos of all the build orders that can win this specific one air build, because it's so dangerous. He just abuses it aggressively. Here comes the scout. It's very bold from Iron Commander to commit to the side mexes. I'm quite surprised he did commit to this. And he didn't go cost time. It's just because, like I said, it's a tactical missile launcher will come and just shoot you, so we tend not to do the cost time, just in case. And so yeah, he sees the engineer, he starts bombing. To be honest, I'm surprised he got this mech and this mech built so early in the game. Oh, he tried to kill that factory, it was very close. They got greedy there maybe, should have probably committed to the engineer. Now he sees free land, he stops his air and goes into land production, continues his aggressive expansion as he always does. As a Cybran player, usually we'll take these three. I would prefer these three. These are a bit harder to defend, but you know, Iron Commander does have really good control skills of his units, and he gets his adapters out early, does lose an engineer, and he can effectively control this. Now I don't know, as a Aeon, when you see this early adapters, whether you push your PD up or whether you do commit to a TML, you know, because even if you do get adapted, you can still TML, like depending what mixes he does take. But I think the biggest problem was that Awasy didn't suppress Iron's 2 mexes at the back and this one early enough, and he didn't push land forward as the adapters on the sides. He probably should have pushed his land forward to force him to create the ball in the middle, which will allow him to pick off the mexes on the sides. But in this case he didn't do it. Like I said, not every game is going to be clean for Awasy because every game is different, and you need to be aware of how to counter certain things. For example, one adapter he can bomb that. He is using his engineer to heal it, but you know, he doesn't know if it's 2 adapters, so he's playing it safe. Just bombs the mexes, but like I said, he's not bombing them fast enough. He's not putting enough pressure fast enough, and which will eventually cost him the game. And Iron Command is defending it very well. Not only did he get his 3 back, and he even got the 2 front ones. He picked off 1 air, nearly pick off the second one, and again the Raider is alive. So I mean, it's easy to judge when you see the map, but when you don't see the map, it's much harder. So Awasy should have been more aggressive on his push at the beginning. That way he could have picked these off, especially this over here. Should have got his ACU out. So I mean, very clean gameplay by Iron Commander. He got this. He's getting his expansion. He's keeping his free land. He's microing his units. You know, he knows when to pull up. He knows these are not going to be targeted for a while. And you know, another air fighter gone. So that's 2 air fighters gone. He stopped his air production. He's got his adapters in his Cybran ball, so at this moment the game he's got the advantage. And yeah, Awasy was just too late to, you know, to push up and to stop this, to really get the point defenses, to force him to get some MMLs, and that might be what was going to cost him the game. Again, you know, Iron's getting greedy now. He picked off 2 air. He knows Awasy probably stopped his air production because he doesn't need it. So he's getting aggressive. He's getting his back mexes. Very aggressive game by Iron. As you can see, he keeps his Brackman behind, Loyalist forward. You have to always separately micro those Loyalists. This is something it takes many hours of practice, you know, like to control your units in a way where you try and keep your Brackmans behind your Loyalists at the front, because if he ever overextends too close to you, you can kind of come in, detonate a couple of your units, and that will be game over. Now here I found something interesting. Iron Commander did see the point defense, and analyzing the video, it was very interesting to see that once he saw the point defense, he committed to making a lot more adapters. And yeah, that's just unusual, because I understand why. See, more adapters here, and he's using it as a way to buff himself against the point defense. So even though the private defense is going to be shooting, because of the adapters and how many he's got, it's just, he can just play more aggressively on this side, and I found that very interesting. Awasy just now realizes that there's no adapts, no defense here, and I mean, he will send some, but you know, like, he doesn't have enough air to do that much damage at this point. If he had 10-12 planes, he could have picked that off, picked the engineer off. He should have checked the back first. So this is the problem of the point defense. They outrange the Cybran's mobile missile launchers, but Iron Command doesn't even need them. He just needs enough adapters just to keep him there. So here comes the very clean unit micro. Look at that control, boom. Defended those two maxes again. See, he really wants to pick off that raider. Very greedy in that sense. Like, a lot of adapters. A lot of adapters. It's like a P-ball. If anyone played with UEF, you know, you have to spam more P shields than you actually think you have to, and they always end up winning you the game somehow. So now that Iron Commander has got his expansion, I mean, his expansion is matching Awasy at this point. He's got the back, he's got the side, he's got the front, he's just missing that one. But as a Cybran, you don't need that many more mexes than the Aeon player, and this one makes playing against Cybran so difficult. Like, you could win the game on half the mexes. Aeon doesn't have any mobile artillery, so he has to do insane amount of micro just to keep out of damage, and without teleport he just can't do anything. Now we're getting close towards the teleport mark, and you can see the 10 minute, 11 minute into the game. So, Iron Commander is going to start to have to aggressively push and try to get the win, because once Aeon gets teleport, he's going to send units here, and they're going to teleport all around his base, and it's just going to be a problem. Now look at this control. See, even though he's got a lot of Blackmen, one connection and he will lose the game. But it's just insane control, you know. Insane control. One connection and he's dead. But in usually there's no way. Oh, you see the boss comes forward. Usually the Cybran ball will tend to win, because eventually he will connect the Blackman volley, and like I said, you push out your bots to the front, you let them take the damage, and you let the Blackmans do the volley. Now what happens when the loyalists come out? Sometimes the player panics and he tends to, instead of going in circles, he tends to pull back, and that's exactly when the volley connects. So and he just takes them to misdirect the volley shot, and he goes under the shield. See, all these point defenses, but the amount of adapters that he's got is helping him really, you know, buff, defend against it. See, they didn't lose any against point defense, and he can just come in, come out, come in, come out. Here comes the units here. So as Iron Commander is starting to see that Awasy's starting to put the push on the flank, he's gonna have to win the game now. Like, he doesn't have time. He knows Awasy's probably got teleport, and time is not on Iron Commander's side at this point, so he's gonna have to do something about this, and he's gonna have to commit. And like I said, you will have to commit, and you either win the game or you don't, depending how well you control your Cybran ball. So he's just wreaking havoc at this point on his base. Not much he can do. So he's aware, he's probably waiting to tech something. Jump Jet, Dito, Awasy's starting to play his aggressive gaming. His teleporting. That makes it gone. Surprised this one's not. And there comes the jump. This is where Iron Commander commits. Kills the Raider. He's trying to misdirect the first volley, but he doesn't do enough damage. He's just controlling it too well. The bots come in. He doesn't do the circle maneuver, and they do connect right here. Oh, see, and it's just not good engagement. So he's playing in that chokehold place, and there's no PDs to help, no point defenses, no shield. So he gets the advantage. That was a very tactical jump. Again, he's trying to teleport to misdirect the volley, but it's just not enough. There's too many adapters in there, and the volley connected. Like I said, just takes one volley to connect, and you lose the game. So yeah, that's it. That's the game. Controls the loyalists at the front, the bracks at the back. Now, yeah, so initially the problem was that Awasy did let Iron Commander keep these two mexes. He shouldn't have this front one as well. Probably these two and this one. The Raider. The back expansion shouldn't have allowed it to happen at all. So the fact that Iron Commander got all these points is what allowed him to really get that Cybran ball going and win the game. Now, this is just an example of how you use free land. You can either go forward to the side, win at 12 minutes, or you try and play a little bit defensive but still get that Cybran ball going. And you have to play on his half of the side, because if you're defending, you can't win against teleport. But if you are the aggressor and you're playing on his side of the map, then he would have to use teleport defensively, and teleport defensively is not very good. It's an aggressive tactic. So you need to know when he's about to tech teleport, and you need to play on his half. Of course he will split units and send them around, but you need to make sure you win that Cybran ball. Okay. And that's basically the game. So game 3, again Awasy, me. I did try many games until I started to get wins, and if I can get wins, that means there are players like Nuclear Pizza or Iron Commander or Polar Bear, Zadaika, who play well, much better than I do, Alpha Hex, and people have better microcontrol than I possibly do. Then they can use these tactics probably even better than I do. And so I'll explain why it works. And yeah. So Awasy starts his iconic 1 air build. We take the mass, and then we build an air factory. No cost, no time, because of TML. Now, if you start an air factory against an Aeon, Aeon will always build harvogs and push you. They could potentially TML as well, but you need to go all in and you need to react to that appropriately. Now ideally you want to try and pick off his scout if you can. If you don't, then well, it's going to become much more harder for you later down in the line. So his scout escaped. Now 1 air allows you to get your back expansion quite comfortably, freely. And but you should expect harvogs to come. Now I'm sending in engineer to check for TML. It's not optimal. You should really send your air scout and hover air, so you shouldn't lose a scout to Awasy, because then you're going to lose more planes scouting. But essentially you need to scout to make sure there's nothing coming forward. If you see something, you bring your ACU, you bring everything in, and you try and kill whatever's here. I will show you later how to do this when he does do a TML. So Awasy is going aggressive on his harvogs. I'm sending an engineer to scout just to see what's going on. No TML means definitely harvogs is coming. And at this point, yeah, you gain your expansion, you gain your land, you can feel more comfortable getting all this stuff. Now, when Aeon takes harvogs, he needs to spend 6 research points to get them. This means you have 6 research points to put into your air, 3 and 4 stars, which will allow you to fight over the harvogs. As long as there's under 6-7 harvogs, you can still catch him on an engagement. When he bombs you, you can catch his air out and you can win. Or you can tech your land and you go 3-4 stars and you sacrifice your air and you commit to the land and you win the land battle. Now it's harder in game practice, but it works on paper, and all you have to do is try and implement that to your advantage. Now, you are playing defensive of your 1 air factory. You take your back mexes and you let him come to you. Now he will try and come to you. He needs to suppress you early because, like I said, eventually you will get your Cybran adaptable and you will counterattack, and it doesn't matter how much harvest he's got because your adaptable will just wreak havoc. And yeah, that engineer is dead. He is a raider and he's gonna try and suppress you, so he's getting his back expansion. Harvogs are much weaker than loyalists. The fire rate is higher. I do believe they do slightly more damage, I could be wrong, but loyalists always win over harvogs. The only way they lose is when the air bombs. So if you can balance it out, or you can distract the air somehow and get the engagement, you will win. You want to utilize the defender's advantage. Don't push forward, stay in your zone. Right here, this is the line. This is enough mexes over here, here, and here to keep you afloat. You shouldn't be pushing up forward until you get your adapters if you feel that's the mid-game turning. You could get AA on your factories and play more defensive, so when he bombs, his air is out of place. Now you do have your ACU advantage compared to Awasy right here. I don't know why he didn't bring his ACU, usually he would, but in this case he didn't. So you do have that extra 20,000 HP that you can just buff. He teched his AA, and you just have to be very careful, and it's all about engagements, when to engage, how to engage, force a mistake. You know, Awasy is expanding aggressively, and you know, I have way more units on land, and hide them behind the air factory, so if he bombs he misses. So you have to be very careful with your control. When he commits, overextends, you can win the engagement. Here he comes in, you have to commit, So your air has to commit, you commit your land, you don't back away, you just commit even if it's over the AA. Just commit, go 3-star air if you need to, or 3-star land, whichever one you choose. Even though you will lose your air fight over the harvos because there was too many and he has way more planes, you do win that land engagement. You do come out better. So he's only got 6-7 land units. At this point you haven't sufficient enough expansion, you know, to protect yourself with AA towers at the beginning. You know, 1 AA here to protect those, 1 AA here. So he did lose a couple of planes there. Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5 planes he lost there. And so now you need to try and get your Cybran ball going. So I've got an AA, I can take that mechs. I don't think we need air at this point, but yeah, you have much more land, so you can play pretty comfortably in your zone. You don't need to, you know. So he knows he's not going to win with just harvogs, and he needs to suppress the Cybran as fast as he can, because you know if Cybran really gets his maxes going, there's nothing he can do against a Cybran ball. And for you, when you see the PD, you just have to commit. Even if he's got air and stuff, you have to commit. So in this case I did tech my ACU, got 1 star over the adapters because I was saving for adapters, and but since he pushed forward that aggressively, you have to keep this under control, and so you just commit. Start your ACU, split your units, make sure they're split. So when the air does bomb, you don't lose too many. And you fight. You star your units because this is probably engagement. It's gonna either win it or lose it. So you go 4 stars. And yeah, and that's when you win the game. He overextended. He should have bought his ACU earlier, I think. And yeah. So all this expansion, and so yeah, that's how 1 air can stop the 1 Aeon air and harvogs. Play on your side, play defensive. If he's expanding, you have to expand, force him out. If it's middle game, you go adapters. If it's early game, you go stars. And so you need to know when to take what. I'll show you another 1 air game. So we get our 3 mexes again. We start 1 air, no cost, no time. So because like I said, if there's a TML, you want to react to it appropriately, which is usually star your land or star your ACU, get in his base, but we'll go through that later. He's gonna scout to see, because free land is dangerous for him. I mean, Aeon could do 2 air, but I think if you have adapters early in the game, you can still suppress his 2 air. So you know, you can just push up off adapters and start making point defense in his base. So maybe that's why 2A is not that good. So he will either TML or go harvogs, and I think he prefers the harvog meta, because even though I'm showing you the wins, I did lose a couple games, more than a couple, but eventually I did get some games back to back, and so I'm trying to show you how engineer scouts, make sure there's no TML. As you can see, both of us used the defender's advantage at the beginning of the game. You do not build your mexes forward ever. So in this, I did win the scout battle, and so I'm playing more aggressive, and it's essentially this build should be played more aggressive. You have the 6-point advantage because he had to research harvogs. So if you can catch his air out, just like that, 3 stars on the planes, 900 versus 990, 3 stars on the planes. You catch his air, so they will win even over adapters early on, as long as you micro correctly and you know when to turn, when to commit. So there we go, we got that one, and then we pull back. So you see, they're just tickling, they're not really doing enough damage, and that's just kind of suppresses him at the beginning. You still get your land, so he can't bomb you anymore, and so you can continue safely expanding in the back, which I'm not sure why I'm not. Should be expanding to the back. This one. A bit strange that I didn't take that. I don't understand why he's coming forward, but anyway, 7 bots against way more bots, and he doesn't have enough air to do any significant bombings. Now Awasy is taking his economy a bit slower this time. I mean, he saw I got 1 air, so he's more comfortable pushing forward. But again, I do think it's a mistake. He should be taking the back ones. You don't want to, you know, let me, because I can counter attack at any moment, so it's better for him to, it's safer to take the back mexes. So you need to read the game, you need to see your defender's advantage. You know, there's my ACU, I can just be a bit more aggressive. Oh, he does come from a bombing run. I didn't lose any units, but you know, he overstretched his air, so I did commit with my air, and even over harvogs I do enough damage, and then I come out and look, they're all in the red. Look, 113, 119, 160, and this kind of thing is why 1 star allows you to fight the air and win. You know, like, you kept 5 planes over, you know, 12 harvogs, and this is what stars can really do, can really win you the game. If you get the right engagements, you force him to bomb, overextend, miss micro the land. But you could also miss micro the same way. You could engage the air at the wrong time, and this is where the skill level truly comes in. Just pull back. I should really send them here and let the engineer heal them, but you know, I think I got too excited that I even got that engagement out. At this point I should really just commit. You know, I should split some units to the side, commit, and continue picking off his air, because I did win the air battle, and if he's splitting harvogs, they're not going to do enough to help his air support. As I said, I got way more land. I can start. I'm not expanding as well as I should be. I should have taken those 2 mexes. I should have taken this mex. So a bit slow on that side. But you can see, like, you win the air early, it buys you time. buys you lots of time to get those, to get the Cybran ball, or maybe not. Maybe you don't need the Cybran ball. If you want the air like this, you can just commit to starving your land. That even if he does have 10-20 planes, you can just spread them and attack aggressively. So here he comes in. He's a bit more lenient to commit now, which I understand, because he did lose a few air engagements. And we're starting to develop quite a big air force, so he's trying to commit. Oh, he does commit. Oh, 2. So again, probably got stars, so the damage was enough to kill them. And then you can just bomb him the same way. You do have stars on your plane, so you can bomb, be more aggressive. And then I did commit after that. Now, one of the problems with playing against Awasy is it doesn't show you here properly, but he does use speed perks. I'll call it perks, but there's certain speed mechanics in the game you can use, and he can easily just super speed his army away, which he's doing using this bot. Well, maybe not, is he? Not in this situation, but he does do it sometimes, and so it becomes even harder to catch him off guard, because there are players who do it, who don't know the speed, so you can easily catch them. Awasy is very difficult to catch. He abuses the speed mechanics, and they speed up exponentially, and you can't. See, see, look, see, so yeah. Again, caught his air off, slightly off guard, and that's the thing. Like you can win, you can play with air as long as you engage his air when he bombs, pull back, engage the land, and it's just difficult. See, committed to winning the land. Oh, the air, and then I have to commit to the land. So. When the air can't bomb, your land goes all in, and you will do much more damage. And when he doesn't have enough harvogs, you just win the air like this. So you have to. So when he bombs, he will pull out. You have to target him then. When you target him, you need to commit your land and win the land battle. He won't bomb you because he will start to fight your air. He will pull back. Your loyalists will go forward. You should engage in that moment and be around equal. If he pulls back into your harvogs, he's gonna have that disadvantage where you're shooting him in the back is the worst thing you can possibly do. So you need to know how to engage. It's not something I can teach you. I'm just showing you that these builds do work. One air and land does work against Aeon. You just need to know how to engage, how to defend, what you need to do. And this is exactly why I'm showing you the replays. Because people complaining a lot, and it is starting to get annoying. I did tell them before, you can win air. And they told me, but harvog is the least of your problems. The problems is the TML. Harvog is not that bad. Now I always said Supreme Commander 2 was dice. Because if you start one air factory, you can win against one air harvogs. Maybe half of the times, 50%. But if he starts free land, TML, and you've made one air factory, you're definitely dying. There's nothing you can do. If he starts one air factory and goes TML, you can still suppress this. Now in tournament games, professional players always go one air because you need to know what's coming and you need to be prepared. No one's going to risk unless they're 100% confident or the map says just too small for starting air. So you see, bomb the land, pick off the airport. kill off his expansions. In this specific replay, I got a lot of air advantage. So yeah. Oh, he defended that. He's reclaiming all that yummy mass. Now, you know, I've got all this expansion. I should have these 3 mechs as well. I don't know why I don't have them. And I just got far more advantage because I've got all the air. I've got more land at this point. You know, there's not enough to do damage to my airs. He does have teleport, but at this point I'm playing more aggressive. That, you know, I've got more stars, and you just have the advantage. You can just harass over anything because they're just that much stronger. He really should be switching to tanks, but because he lost his air, he has to keep them, and doesn't matter what he's got. Loyalist 3, 4, 5 stars will absolutely destroy harvogs. So again, all his air is lost, and so yeah, that's an example of how to win. Oh, he captured my factory. That's just an example of how to win with a 1 air factory start as a Cybran player. So just immense amount of damage from the loyalists. Like I said, you don't need adapters or anything, just speed, stars, and you'll be fine. And just don't play passive, do commit, do 4 waves, and you'll be fine. So with the amount of air that I have, I can just harass non-stop. So he did switch to tanks eventually, because like I said, harvogs are just not enough to sustain the loyalists with full stars, and harvogs just don't do enough damage. But then I do have the air advantage, so you know, but it's not like he has a choice. So yeah, don't play passive. Just believe in your stars and just commit. Okay, next. So again, this time I'm gonna go cost time. 1 air. Since you're going cost time, you want to get your air quicker. Awasy does a stand 1 air build. Managed to get that plane. So in this situation, we went cost time. You get your expansion. You should scout. You should see if he's coming TML. I always say this is important. Don't lose your scout. Just briefly scout here. See if there's anything. If there is, you need to commit. Now, if you see there's something there coming up, then probably means he only has 1 airplane. If he's going TML, he can only afford 1 or 2 airplanes. So you can win the air battle. So it's, like I said, I'm sending my engineer, which is not that effective. You should be scouting your plane. I'm getting that full expansion. Since I got cost time, I'm more aggressive on my eco. In this scenario, cost time, I think is a bit weaker than no cost time, because you've wasted 4 research points on that cost time, and so you only have stars either for planes or for land. In this specific moment, I'm even gonna lose my air. So like I said, I told you about bad engagements, look, just awful engagements, but I managed to pull him into an AA tower, and at least get 1 plane out of it. And but yeah, you can afford like AA towers, so of cost time, so you know he's committing to bombing the land, so you should be starring your land at this point, so they're a bit more buff. He lost 2 planes in that engagement, and like I said, cost time allows you to really get your economy going, really get your building. At this point I have 3 factories and an AA tower. The back mechs is before he's got his, and yeah, I mean he could put a point defense somewhere. I don't know if he's planning to do this or was in his mind. I should have a radar on the factory somewhere, because you know this 100 mass on a radar for an early engagement is a bit diabolical, to be honest. And he's got a lot of planes, and so you're gonna have to defend. Since we did lose air, it shouldn't really happen, but when you go cost time, you should defend until you get your adapters. I'm not sure why I engaged my airplanes there, because every time I lose my units he does get tech, he does get his research points. But as a Cybran player on cost time, you do have enough points to place AA towers on the sides and try to catch him out, hide behind the mechs, unit control, and so yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go back to check, but we got enough to control this. I should be taking that mechs. I should be reclaiming this. Another land factory. Now we're just waiting to get my adaptable going. Oh, there we go, there's the adapter. I mean at this point I can't just stop making air, because if you have your adapters you don't need air. They're too expensive to run both at the same time, and over harvogs is pointless, especially since I threw my air at the beginning of the game. So again, use your defender's advantage. Look, it's a massive distance for him to walk. You have to use your defense advantage. I see so many players, you know, building mechs here, or coming here. Just if you've went air and you've suppressed him, or he's playing aggressive, take your back mexes, get an AA, defend it, defend your base, especially as a Cybran going cost time. You don't need to be that aggressive. You can hide behind the mechs if you can, because it's a bit of a... Since I am cost time, there's also the detail, so it's going to be a bit more careful. And so yeah, I mean at this point I could be more aggressive. I should be pushing. I've got enough adapters to really get me going. He's got 3 factories against my 4. So at this moment I do have an advantage. I should be abusing it. I should be committing, and I should be taking this forward expansion as well, since I got my adapters. So he's trying to engage and bomb. So just, you know, again, since I got my adapters and I got an AA here, I really don't need air, but I still committed it, trying to drive him out, but he's not really baiting for it. And you know, Awasy really got his economy going. Like all the mechs is here, all the mechs is here, and like I said, in this specific video, I'm not aggressive enough in taking my mass extractors forward. This one, because I could hide behind it, because, you know, 3 points from detail. If he overcommits, he could lose a massive chunk. And remember, you need to learn to split your units at the right time. There we go. That's 2 planes down. I did stop my airpack, finally. A bit late, but should be taking all of these nexus at the front. Very slow I am on that, especially since I got cost time. I don't know why I am that slow. Engineer's lazy, should be sucking up all of this. But regardless, the Cybran ball is still going. Now, Awasy has won his air battle, and I do have adapters, so he doesn't need harvogs. He should be changing to tanks, so you know, he's got those chrome shields, maybe because of my air, or maybe because I'm stars. But again, Border Boom is a bit better, and he should be switching to tanks, full tanks with Border Boom, MMLs, and you know, he should be sending some this way, some this way. And again, this match specifically I should have lost because I didn't take my forward expansion as I should be doing. But also Awasy is not changing to tanks, which is not very good. I mean, they are just that much weaker. So, and this is what I'm saying to people, like, if you waste 6 research points to get harvogs, and he switches up to tanks, that's 6 research points he's away from teleport. In this case he went chrome shield, so he's even more points away from teleport. And so yeah, which is not very good. Finally getting my expansion, but so late, and there's 6 factories against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So he will outproduce me, but he just keeps engaging me. And I am starting to get my Brackmans in there. And again, you need to split your units. Avoid that bomb, because one bad bombing run and that will be the end for me. But, getting Bracks to keep, because we're fighting in a chokehold. Bracks are perfect. Don't have much time to micro properly, but like I said, you need to keep your Bracks slightly behind and your bots forward to protect your adapters, protect your Brackmans, because they are the most expensive units in that composition. Where he's killing too many adapters, you know, because I'm not keeping my forward bots forward. But yeah, but the harvogs were just too weak, so he should be switching to tanks again. I don't know why he's not switching to tanks. He really should be doing this, but he's not. So when I get my Cybran ball going, it's gonna become dangerous. Maybe he's got stars as well, just to be able to put up a fight against me. He probably has. Maybe beginning of the game, because otherwise it would be harder for him. I would just go in. So I'm not really sure. But you know, the Cybran ball is growing, and there's only a certain amount of time before it's just too dangerous for Aeon to do anything about it. So you can see he's got the whole map advantage, and I'm playing half the map. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Players like Iron Commander would have already had this mix, would have already branched out, had all of this. They wouldn't have delayed that long to take. So I'm not playing that clean as it could be. Awasy is not playing very clean in this situation. He should be switching to tanks, would have won him the game. But still, not every game is going to be clean. People will make mistakes, and the main focus of the game is to force your opponent to make those mistakes. Try to capture my stuff of 2 engineers. So there's going to be a moment when the Cybran ball is just too dangerous. And there's nothing he can do. See, absolutely shredding. It's probably 4 stars. At least 3 or 5 stars there. So he's finally switched to tanks, but him switching to tanks had to happen a long time ago. That was too long for him. He should have set at least 4 of those factories to go around to make me split my adaptable, because it's harder to control, because the unit composition side of that adaptable is very important, and when you're splitting armies you don't tend to split your composition very well. But at this point I'm just too dangerous. Too many bracks, too many loyalists. I'm inside of his base. I'm aggressive, so he can't use teleport to his advantage. And eventually you just steamroll. So he used teleport, but it's just like I said. When you're in his base, you can't maximize the potential of his teleport. He can just teleport and then run and then teleport. In this situation, since you're in his base, you can't do that. And you need to know when you have to time that attack. Like in this situation, even though he's got the full economy going, I was managing to win those little engagements and farm for my XP. And that won me the game. Just one example. Growth cost time, 1 air. So cost time, 1 air again. Gain the full expansion. Trying to win the scout battle, because that will give us a big advantage if we manage to. He control K'd not to give me that research point. Well, not full point, but some like half a point, I don't know, 25% of a point, I don't know. But yeah, cost time gives me advantage. Scouting with my oh, not scouting. So yeah, it's strange because you win your air scout and you need to send your plane forward. You have to, because if he TMLs, that will be the game. That will be the end for you. And so once you kill the scout, send your little scout, check if he's placed the factories, and then pull back and do whatever you need to do. Or you can use the engineer, but that won't be quick enough, in my opinion. I think you still need to scout. So in this situation here, you don't have that air advantage because you did go cost time. So it's not like you can go 3-4 stars and win this engagement, win the air over this engagement. Because he's got 4 bots. You could still technically with 3-4 stars engage correctly behind him and win. But in this situation we're cost time, so we're playing a bit more defensive. I noticed that a bit too late. Again, I should have a factory radar, to be honest. He killed Max. Now see, I think at this point I do have a star. I do have a star, do I? Yeah, 1 star. I teched 1 star and I took that engagement over the harvogs. And even though the harvog's slightly behind, he is pulling his harvogs there to support, but it's just not in time. And this is what I mean, where this build is initially supposed to be aggressive. You're supposed to micro the bots on the side, split his harvogs, and then get the engagement with the air, because you can still win them over harvogs. But also there's also that defender's advantage, so he needs to fly all the way here, or you need to fly all the way here. So playing defensively is always going to be to your advantage, and if he splits them, then so much better for you, because if you catch that air out of position, they're done. And so I do win the air, because 3-star air will win. And then I pull my air out, I kill these 2 bots, and then I control K this army to not feed him, because you don't want to give him the points. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they are dead. Yeah. So I didn't want to give him the points, so control K them. Because like I said, once Aeon gets teleport, it's a pain in the butt. So on this occasion I did get my fullback mexes. I'm gonna probably commit to getting the forward ones, maybe these 3. But the air is lost for him, for Awasy, so I just stalled for time to get my Cybran ball going. Cost time, I got 4 factories against 3, another one building. So you get that economy boost, so you don't need to worry about Awasy's expansion that much. Now if you need to catch him out of position so you can engage him, again, like I said, I can't teach you this, it just takes time for you to know at which point he's overcommitted, overstretched, that you can just counter at the right time. Especially since, look, Awasy uses the speed mechanics to boost his units up using this bot, so they catch up, and he can. And I'm doing the same thing here to catch up with my bots. I'm using the speed mechanics. That's something you need to do. Something a lot of pro players do. Like I seen Iron Commander abuse this, and Awasy abuses. Haven't seen anyone else do it that much. But they just aggressively flank, and normal players try to move and they just don't catch up. And it could be just normal tanks, and he will just exponentially speed up. So you can see we were both doing this here, just to stop him from flanking me aggressively. And you can use that in your counter attacks, in your defensive, or to, shift your ACU of a unit and run away from damage. It's harder to do in the game. You need to have your skill set down to the point. One wrong move and you will lose the game. I mean, you just don't have microseconds to shift your unit and then press it, and it's just it's hard, it's difficult. Again, you want him to overcommit, you want him to overstretch so you can counter attack it. So speed boost again, and then he speed boosts them to catch up with them. So that's probably one of the reasons as well why he keeps his 1 unit here or 1 unit there, because he can play the catch up, can aggressively speed up his units. So he's got his expansion over here and the forward mech, so I'm slightly behind on the economy. Maybe that's what he's doing in this situation, he's stalling me, so I need to really get my adapters in so I can start to play aggressive. because if I don't get them, then okay. So he bombs, and I think I have to commit. See, the units are gonna have to catch up a little bit, and I have to get to him as close as possible, and then commit my air when there's not much land left. And when you commit, you have to commit. You can't just pull back. There's no. You don't really have a choice. So don't bunch them up. Commit to that tank attack, and then yeah. And right here, I try to catch his air off guard. I've got some, yeah, and he's still bombing, so I can still get those kills. And like I said, loyalists are much more stronger than harvog, so 3-4 stars, whatever you need to do, commit to that game, commit to that fence, don't pull back. He might do stars as well, but then that puts him back on the teleport. So, but yeah, you know, you need to time this. It's not something I can't teach you when you have to do it. You just have to feel it by the game. And so yeah, and at this point I'm just committed to doing as much damage as I can, getting his mexes. You know, he's trying to chase me around. The bombings are just not enough because they've got, my units do have stars on them. So, and I prefer to play like this. I prefer to go stars on units and commit, because, you know, players go teleport, and he doesn't have a bother boom, you know, in every unit composition, and so you can really, and the bombings are just not enough to do the damage. So if you're able to counter attack at the correct moment, like I said, I can't teach you when, how. It's just something you need to feel as part of your game, where you see he's out of position, and you quickly take speed and you commit, or you go 3-4 stars and you commit. It's really up to you to read the game, to understand this. And even though he has way much more mass, by the time he utilizes this on the 10-12 minute mark, he already sustained too much damage. And that damage is a lot of research points for you. Plus I've got 1, 2, 3 research. I'm not even expanding at this point. I'm just sticking to my harassment. Getting as much as I can energy, so you won't have enough for teleport. And at this point the game is basically lost. Like, keep the constant harassment on, and once you've got enough loyalists with enough stars, you just commit to an attack and you win the game. And his AC is out of position, so tech jump jets caught him out, but it really wouldn't matter. Like, I could just commit and I'll still win. Next map. So I did show you open palms. I showed you 6 games, 2 with free land and 4 with 1 air starters, 1 of cost, 1 of no cost. Now there are maps out there which are very difficult to play on, and there is the 1v1 Thunderpass, like this one, and there's the 3v3 Thunderpass. Now the 1v1 Thunderpass, I couldn't win with Cybran at all, not a single game. So we just agreed, and the Iron Commander also struggled to play against Awasy on the Thunderpass map. Now I don't know which one he played on, but on the 3v3 map you still have more chances, in my opinion. And I'm gonna show you again how, approximately, what to do. Again, starting cost. I believe it's cost. Yeah, cost. There's more mexes on a 3v3 than a 1v1. And this is an advantage for Cybran because like you can sit defensively and you need way less mexes than an Aeon to win the game. So if there is more mexes like this, it's actually to your advantage. So you go cost time and you force him harvogs, or if you see a TML then you need to commit, but I'll show you how to counter that in a minute in the next episode next replay. So you commit, get the eco aggressively as you can, scout, see if there's any TML, because that's the correct way. You can see we've played enough games at this point. See what he's got. No TML. He pulled back. Yeah, he's got free play, so you would have. So I saw that he's got harvogs and he is going economy. I didn't see any units when I scouted, so I placed a research station. I didn't take this max because I don't need it to be veteran. He is gonna aggressively push me, so you can. I just don't want it at the moment. I want to get these ones, the safe ones. And yeah, he's so now he's aggressively pushing on his harvogs. So I stopped my air completely. I don't need it because I'm cost time. I can just plonk one AA tower, or maybe just go adapters if I get it in time. So now he commits the push. He has enough bots. I did fully stop my air, something he's not aware of. So like I said, every game is gonna be different, and the opponent doesn't know what you're doing, and so you have to be able to bait them out, stop air, not stop air. You know, every game is different. So he does commit. I don't have that forward mechs, like I said. I just don't need it. I got all the mechs behind. This is why I believe this map is slightly better for Cybran than it is for Aeon, with the extra mexes. But yeah, I got the shield, and he could just put a PD, yeah, you know, and it will cause me a lot of problems. But I don't know how much mass he has and whether he can afford it or not. So I did get my adapter, so I don't need to worry about the air that much. I did have one AA here just in case. I've got 3 factories against 2, so now I just have to stall and just really watch out for that point defense, because if the point defense comes, that'll be the end. One wrong bombing gun and that'll be the end. So I got that shield. Could he be more aggressive? Maybe. You should defend your units behind mass, so if he bombs forward, the mass can protect you. If he bombs from the side, the mass can protect you. That's little things like this you need to abuse. So again, you just stall. This is enough for Cybran. This is enough. You don't need to be greedy. You already have more than he does, you know. Like he hasn't even taken these 5. I mean, minus this one, of course. And yeah, you get your Cybran adapter ball going. Now we have 1 research advantage. We got 1 AA. I don't know which point he's gonna start to switch to tanks. And yeah, I can comfortably take that now, no problem. Commit your build order because the mass is gonna start coming in hard. So yeah, there's no such thing as too many adapters. I think many people underbuild them, but I even got MMLs this time. Like, I feel like I had such an advantage at this point in the game that I could afford to get MMLs. I was that confident about it. because you know I got my research, I got my economy, and I managed to sustain that push at the beginning. And yeah, so I'm using what Iron Commander does, is where he makes a lot of adapters to stop that PD from doing much damage. He should be switching to tanks. Yeah, there we go, because there's no need for harvogs anymore. I have no air. Probably should have done it early. And yeah, these adapters are protecting me a lot. So just micro your units effectively enough. Even though the MMLs are bad, if you get enough, they will do damage. They can eventually break through the shield. And with Thunderpass, this is a bit of a choke point, so it's not that good for him to play in specifically. Here he prefers more like open palms, where you have more control to, you know, to do the circular movement. But even here he's blocked his army. If he wants to retreat, he has to go through this side or this side, or up. And you see the amount of adapters just protect me from any significant damage. And 6 research and harvogs means I've got time on teleport, probably another couple of minutes. You know, I'm not even taking any of these mexes. Like I said, other players like Iron Commander, he would have taken this mex, he would have taken these two, he would have taken these two. I just don't have that skill level to really expand like this. I just understand the game a bit more differently, I guess. And which is good for players who are not professionals, who like mid-level players who struggle on getting the economy going. They can use these tactics to their advantage to go mid-game over late game, especially versus players like Awasy against their Aeon. But any other factions is going to be a bit more complicated. And if you want, I can make tutorial videos. I can explain what you need to do with other factions if you really want to know. Just leave some comments, tell me what you want to see, and yeah. So you see, I just overrun him with the composition. It's just there was just too much with a research advantage. Just the Cybran ball, if he doesn't deal with it early, there's nothing a AM play can do about it. So yeah, if you want to see anything else, Aeon versus UEF versus Cybran, let me know what you want to see and I'll show you. Maybe specific maps as well. Let's see the next video. So in this video I'm gonna show you how to counter to TML. Now I did play open palms and I did counter TML on open palms the similar way, but I didn't save that replay unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to show you on Thunderpass. Now this is the 1v1 Thunderpass that I said Cybran struggles on, and I don't think it's a Cybran map, but I need to show you how to counter a TML against an Aeon player. And in this specific gameplay I went no cost, no time, and so yeah, let's have a look. So one air factory. Actually I'm lying, I went cost time here. So usually you go no cost, no time, and you can get adapters early. In this case I went cost time, so, and even going no cost time, I still managed to hold back a TML. So let's have a look. Like I said, we're getting the back expansions, the safe ones. We see the air scout coming. So before Awasy does anything, he will always scout, which is why he can counter anything that you make. So I managed to, I pressed stop on the plane to manage to get good engagement and save my airplane, luckily. And so, like I said before, using the engineer is not that great because it's a bit too late. So getting your air out to the front as fast as you possibly can to scout if any potential TML threat is on the way. Now I see that happening. I see it coming. I could have bombed, maybe that would have been the end of the game if I did what Awasy likes to do. And but also you need to understand, TML means it's going to be heavy on his mass and especially his energy. So when you see someone force a TML, this energy and this energy and this energy is priority to kill them as quick as you can. He has no air. TML means no air. So force him some AA, force him to spend some mass to delay that TML. I don't know if he needed a second factory here, but here comes the first AA. So you remove your air, bring up your ACU. I got vision on my ACU, 1 point, just to see PDEs, see the game, see the environment. I should be sending my air back here, picking off the energy, forcing another AA on so there's 3 tanks against bots. Here comes the shield. In the meantime, I still got my expansion. You're delaying him. You need to delay him as fast as you can, because like I said, this is no cost time. I have no adapters. Here comes the point defense, and that means that's it. This is a no-go. This is already a no-go. I think the point defense was an overkill. He could have just plonked the TML, but he did put the point defense. And I can't send my ACU to his base because he will send his ACU forward and place point defenses and all sorts of things. So I have to go around. I got my air, I can scout, I can see what's going on, I can use it to my advantage. You see, he's stalling, he doesn't have mass, he doesn't have... So no air, no land. He finally gets his TML. I got just enough for a research station. These two should stop and put shields on both of them to delay the damage made by the TML. And you go around and trying to kill things from his base. Again, energy is the first things you want to target. So I see that. I target the energy first because it's more important. And then I push forward to the next one. I did bring my ACU all the way forward, but I think I changed my mind. So, yep, and yeah, the damage is committing. So I got 1-1. Actually, yeah, 1-1, and an energy. And I managed to pick off a second one, which will be, he's gonna pick off a second one. And I got another energy. This is more important than the 2 mechs because he has no energy after this. So you're building them as quick as he possibly can. And that's second one, so 2 mass for me, 2 mass from Awasy, plus and 2 energy. So I got that encounter better. I also got my full expansion. And yeah, I can just head home and just stall for time. Back shield, land shield, and yeah. So at this point you just try to get adapted as quick as possible. I want to defend this mech because I know he's going to TML here. Got my adapter just in time. And so yeah, he is going to start coming forward. This time he's got tanks, so that's going to be a bit more difficult to defend. But I've got 5 factories against 2, so time is not on Awasy's side in this specific case. I also got the air advantage, since he's only got 4 planes and way less mass, so you can't really effectively run them. Could he have pushed in the middle? Possibly. Could he have PD'd, put a point defense here? Possibly. But I do have adapters, I do have air, so it wouldn't be that good for him in my opinion. I think I could have handled that, so that's why he's going more of a safe option. Maybe eventually creep his way up. So I am utilizing my air because I think he doesn't have that much air. I've probably got and I managed to win that engagement somehow just because he committed to the 2 planes. So that was just a lucky air engagement there. Plus one of my planes had veterancy on him, I think. Yeah, that one, 1170. That's why I was so strong. Then he finally picked off a couple of mexes here. I don't know if this can reach this part. It can reach this one. So you need to micro your adapters well. Preferably they should be moving because he could snipe them off. But since they're under the fact shield, it's not that much of a problem. And you know, he went TML, so he doesn't have that much mass. So that's something you can play to your advantage. So 5 factories. You get your Brackmans later on in the game because, like I said, they're expensive and you don't really need them until you got adapters. Also, TML means he's 6 points behind teleport, and he doesn't even have border yet. No border boom, so massive advantage for me. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against 3 land facts. So time in this specific moment, time is on my side. I do get that adaptable going, and yeah, it's just one of those things where you really need to get the adaptable going. It's one of the most dangerous things you can do as a Cybran. We managed to pick off some of my adapters that were here defending the oh, I got another one. Don't know if that was worth it, but they were under the factory shield, so maybe. Okay, so we're committing to an attack. He is in a little chokehold here, and he can't rotate them properly. One connection, one good connection, and ooh. And yeah, the ball keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and again, you feel when it's the right moment to attack. I can't really explain it. You keep your bots forward, you keep your Brackmans behind. This bombing run nearly did me the game. You see, Awasy really good at knowing when to bomb, but just wasn't enough. And yeah, you need to be aggressive with your Cybran ball. Like when you have enough adapters to hold off a PD, you can just come in and come out. Just push your bots forward, keep your bracks behind. And again, you always want to keep your bots forward and your Brackmans behind. These shouldn't be here, but it doesn't matter. the game is ended. So that's how you counter TML. It's probably the hardest thing to do, is to counter the TML, but eventually you'll learn it and it'll get easier and easier. And this will cost time, so no cost time is actually much easier because you get your adapters way earlier, and so you can suppress that TML quicker, but then you won't have that great of an economy. So it's your choice. And I'll show you one more. So the replays that I'm showing you is specifically to counter the 1 air build that Awasy does. Any moment Awasy can change and do free land harvogs or free land TML or anything else, and you will lose the game. And this is why I always say that Supreme Commander 2 has always had the dice factor, where it doesn't matter how good your build is, there's always a counter. So in this specific replay, I did manage to find somewhat of a counter against Awasy's 1 air, and so I'll show you. So in this specific map, there's a choke point right here, right there, and the mexes are defendable, relatively speaking. As a Cybran, you don't need more than this. So you can go cost time to research, specifically against 1 air. It does work. So he scouts and he begins to bomb. You have your 1 factory and you pull out your ACU aggressively as you can, because TML can always happen. And with 2 research, you can start your ACU, you can do whatever. So you bring back your, you take it out. But at this point, you see how much air that he has. You know there's not going to be TML. TML only happens when there's 1 or 2 planes. So you can actually feel it. You can tell during the game if he's not bombing you. If there's only 1 or 2 planes, what's going on? You feel it, and that allows you to push your ACU up. You got 2 research. You can PD, point defense, spam it, abuse it even equally, and I mean there's ways to counter. So you gain his base, and with a 2 research advantage, you just pull him out. Because again, you can always tech your ACU. Not that you need to, but it's something you can do. We got the back mechs, the front mechs as well, the AA defense. You even got a research station in this specific game. He's got another research station, so he wants early teleport. But so he's not even expanding as aggressively as he may have done before. So got my Megalith in this specific example, and you have to be aggressive. Like once you have your first Mega, you need to push, and yeah. And 2 raiders, because I'm assuming this one's gonna die. And yeah. So he does have 2 research. He's got boulder booms. So you wanna play quite aggressive, and you wanna use your structures as detonation, because there's so many choke points. It's actually beneficial to Cybrans. Again, assuming Aeons go 1 air, this map should be suppressed. There we go, here comes the teleport, but it doesn't do enough damage. Just doesn't do enough damage. I've got my unit detail, and so it's just not enough and that's game. Again, against 1 air. All of these videos are against 1 air because, like I said, just annoying me in the Steam chats, you know? Like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? This is what you do. If a player is predictable, you can counter it. So I don't show you a build unless I have numerous wins with the build. And usually I'm not satisfied until I get at least 1 or 2 back-to-back wins. Okay? And like I said, if I can do this, that means there are players out there that can play and do it way better than I can. And so again, against a 1 air build is doable, but whether Awasy will do 1 air build on Venus is questionable. I'm not sure he's gonna commit to 1 air on Venus, and that just makes the game a whole lot more different and dicey. If he does free land and you do free land, you probably can take the win. If he does 1 air and you do free land, you will lose. But if he does 1 air and you end up going 2 cost research, then most likely you should be able to take that win. To research, land, bringing my ACU up forward because, well, I need to stop whatever he might build, like TML, or I'm not sure why he always goes for the research. I'm assuming because he expects Megas, but Megas is not the only thing you could do. So in this case, I got 2 research and I'm going 3 more land. He's going aggressively on the research. So in the game, you feel like when you're playing, you know, I can see only 2 airplanes, and I don't see any land. Right, these are the things that you have to understand. So probably tech, I see only 6 land units, 2 airplanes, and so you need to react appropriately and fast enough to these kind of things. In this specific case, I teched shield on the bots, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why he tried Ichiro, but maybe it wasn't a serious game. But either way, it was another 2 research game that I pulled through, and but like I said, I doubt he would do 1 air on Venus that often. Or maybe he just didn't play legitimately. I'm not sure, but he says he plays legitimately all the time. You know, sometimes we do want to get something weird out. Either way, 2 research and you commit appropriately, you can get the game out. So you need to catch on these things. 2 airplanes means TML or something else. If you see more planes, that means he's going for expansion. 2 planes also means he probably is going tech. So how many planes he makes is a hard giveaway of what he's planning to do, and you need to react appropriately. And like I said, this is just a dicey build on Venus. I haven't tried cost time here. I haven't tried 1 air build here either. Maybe it's something that's doable because if you place 1 air and you can expand here, or You need to find the specific mix points that are far away from TML, and but there's a choke point where it's good for Cybran if you get the Cybran ball going. So maybe you can start your 1F factory, you know, but the distance to these mixes are too far, and I don't know if it's good enough. And bots, it's possible, it's something to try, so you can try. I mean, if it works on open palms, and there was a game on Thunderpass where 1Air worked, then there are other maps where it should work, and it's whether you can implement it the correct way. Anyway, hopefully this helps you in your Cybran gameplay, and Awasy is the best Aeon game player ever. Aeon gamer. Maybe there's Fox and Venadi, but you know, Fox lost to J-Wix in the finals, and he's lost to Iron Commander, and Awasy's dominated 11 tournaments in a row. I think he put a lot of people out of commission of playing the game. There's a lot of pro players that just don't play anymore because of Awasy. And so yeah, there's always another monster in the game, and you just have to keep playing, spend hours and thousands of 1v1s. Well, you don't have to spend it, since I spent it for you, but learn these builds, learn how to use them, implement them, improve them, spend thousands of hours in 1v1s, and hopefully you'll get a win from Awasy. Thank you for watching, and let me know what other tutorials you need.